Hey everybody, I'm KaeRhon Tomaz, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be shifting gears, and I'll be the TeflonJohn of this video, and I'm going to be interviewing TeflonJohn himself. So sit back, relax, enjoy the segment. Alright, so here we are, on this couch. I got my cousin, my boy, co-worker, teammate, whatever you want to call him, dynamic duo time. I'm here with Jonathan TeflonJohn Smith, my cousin from long time. It's been a minute. So how you been, man?
Yeah, doing good, man. Just chilling. Glad to be on the other side of the seat.
Yeah, this is different for me. This is like a parallel universe we got going on. Because usually I'm not. You won't see me. Usually I'm on the other side. But today is a little different. First time for everything, I guess. I wanted to ask you a couple questions. Get to know TeflonJohn inside and out a little bit more.
Let's go. Let's shoot.
Yeah, let's go ahead. So, what started you on this whole? This thing going on here, this
as far as the show,
from the show to everything, just trying to better yourself. What was the manifest destiny? What told you to do this?
Yeah, so I would say what really got me started to doing the show is when I went on living in the heart of Virginia. And,
I remember I saw that.
So doing music, rapping, making beats and everything. I've always been into like the audio technical side. Then I got into a little bit of video, but I always think I can do something. So my whole thing is I hate the middleman. You know what I'm saying? Like, why pay somebody to do something that I can do? They're not saying that I wouldn't put money into something I couldn't master, but I think that I believe in myself that much that I can learn a craft. But, just things that I've been through in life, it actually motivates you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can crush you or it can motivate you. So I think things I went through in life and made it out. Now it's my opportunity to actually take my stories, take other people's stories, and actually put them out there and try to inspire other people.
Interesting. Okay, so kind of what you just said also reminds me of it's like just working with what you have, as opposed to saying, oh, that's never going to happen, I'm not going to accomplish this particular goal, so might as well just wait till the professional can help me out. But it's cool that you're actually like MacGyver, you're taking what you have and just figuring out like ways around it to actually create the product, because there was actually a saying, I forgot how it went, but you can just take anything and you can create anything from it. Yeah. So I like that aspect about you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it, because you remember we started, we didn't have a DSLR, we didn't have
we didn't have this.
Yeah, we didn't have like a Zoom H1N, we didn't have softbox lights, we didn't have a studio. So what I'm saying, I think the very important thing is just get started with what you have. You know what I'm saying? If you have a cell phone, you know what I mean? This is the camera, you have a cell phone, you can podcast from your cell phone. But I think the most important thing is just that belief, self-belief, because you can have all the equipment in the world. And like when we were starting out, you had to actually push me to do videos without deleting them, because I really didn't feel like the message was good. So I think that self-belief, man, is very important when you want to be an influencer and you want to use your platform to actually impact people for the better. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else will, because there's going to be times you're the only one in your house. You're the only one at your job. You're the only one in your family that believes in what you're doing.
Of course. And I appreciate you for kind of elucidating on that particular note, because, knowing me, you know me more than I, the people out there watching know me. But we're talking about you. But I've seen the struggles you went through, where it seemed like people at your job, or maybe other people might have said something, or even just kind of given off our particular vibration that what you were doing was probably fruitless, or nothing was going to come into fruition. But looking at what we have now, and since we started from, you could say dirt. I wouldn't say dirt, but we started off with not the most robust set of equipment, and hey, I got the job done. It's a great way to start. We started off with this, but as time goes on, you learn more and you gain more, gets a window of opportunity in order to kind of achieve a DSLR or a softbox or HN1 microphone.
And it takes money. Like, you got to invest in your own dream. Like, you can't want to do something and at the same time not feel like, oh, I'm not going to spend money on that, but then go buy a $200 pair of shoes. Like, that's backwards. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe in what you're doing, like, the soundboard that I want is like $600+ microphone. So, what I'm saying? I believe in myself that much that I'm going to sow into myself. The reason people water a seed in the ground, they're sowing into that seed that one day they're giving the nourishment that it will grow. Same thing with this, same thing with buying cameras, same thing that we're doing, putting out video after video, because one day it's going to grow and sprout. Now, the thing is, we falling in love with watering the actual seed. We're not falling in love with the plant and the blooms of the flowers. Because what happens is, if you don't love the process of watering that seed, it's going to be hard for you to continue to do that to bring flowers.
You know what I'm saying? Focused on the end formula rather than the process it takes to get to the end formula.
Now you got to keep the end in mind. You know what I'm saying? It's very important that everything you do to keep the end in mind. That's why I focus on quality. I don't want to put anything out, and I've been criticized for it if it's not quality. You know what I'm saying? Like in social media, you're competing with people's eye gates. So as they scroll, something that looks good stands out to them, and I think they'll push it. You know what I'm saying? Right. But going back to what you said about people not believing in it, like how many languages do you speak?
Well, predominantly English, a splash of French, maybe.
Can you speak German?
Not at all.
Okay, so if you went to Germany and had a conversation, it'd be hard for y'all to communicate. It'd be hard for them to understand you, right?
Right.
So I think the problem is most people are frustrated, and I've went through that. Is I'm a visionary. I'm a dreamer. If I'm having a conversation with other visionaries and dreamers, it's like two people that speak the same language. Two people talking German, they understand each other. The problem is you have visionaries and dreamers that are speaking to people that don't dream, that don't have visions, that just want to work a 9 to 5 and go home.
And it's like Chinese arithmetic too, or something.
And they can't articulate and they can't speak life into them because they don't know. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, you need to surround yourself with other people that dream, other people that network, and other people that actually believe in something that they can't see.
And that's people that challenge you as well too, right?
Yeah. You want people to challenge you, but you want to get around people because being a visionary and being a dreamer, I think you're a special type of person. Growing up, I watched X-Men, and on Professor X's mansion, it said I think it's Charles Xavier School for the Gifted, and they were all in their house together because they understood each other. They had special powers. Not saying we have special powers, but we have a special way of thinking. We can see something before it's there. Some people won't believe it until they see it. But me, I'm already seeing us with 3 cameras. I'm already seeing us with a $1,200 soundboard. I'm already seeing us with a video mixer.
Right, you're having an optimistic.
Yeah. So everything I do, the end goal is already in mind. The quality, the production, and every time we finish a video, what do I say? How can we make it better?
How can we make it better? That's always basically some of the final thoughts you give. As far as like a recap goes after we finish the video. Then we'll also, go back and compare it to, not so much compare, the guests we had, because all the guests were awesome in their own special way, in their own different way. They were unique in their own different way. But what we'll do is we'll go back and say, was the lighting on point in this video?
Yeah.
Do you think, the pacing was good? Was the subject matter strong enough? Things like that. And it seems like with each video, there's a new improvement. We learn something new. Sometimes it might come through trial and error. We might make a mistake, but over time, we learn from those. We pick up on it. Like even today, I think we also, there's one thing I always make sure I do, and that's to make sure their sound going. Because there's been times we had to do reshoots because
we shot 30-minute videos with no sound, like no words, no sound. Like a Chinese movie, like
call me up.
Just no words at all. You know what I mean? So I think that it's very important to learn from your failures. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can learn from anything. You know what I mean? And we just finished up an interview with Living in the Heart of Virginia, and we learned from them. Like watching that cameraman, I'm always learning. I'm always soaking up, but I'm not so infatuated with the information that I forget about the results. Some people are consume information, consume content, consume information, consume content, and they never put that into action.
And it's just information overload.
Yeah. It's just like you will go broke if you're only a consumer. You know what I'm saying? Billionaires, like if you look at people that are billionaires and people that have money, they don't just consume and go buy other people's products.
They invest.
They have a product and they invest. You see what I'm saying? So people consume from them. So when you're consuming my videos, when you're consuming other inspirational stuff, try to apply it. You know what I mean? Novocaine is good for toothaches, but it's worth nothing unless you apply it to the tooth. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to look. You're going to fail. It's things that you're going to do wrong. We might go back and critique this video, but we're going to learn from it and improve. Like if you go watch some of our earlier videos, I was borderline trash. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm that good at what I do now. I think I'm getting better, but I've improved.
Greatly,
no
tremendously.
energy. Yeah.
From what I remember seeing, although I've always thought you were good because I wasn't doing it, and I just think, wow, borderline natural at this. So, watching it, I mean, starting off, you were young people. It taught me something great too, because looking at how far you come now, though it may not seem like that much time has passed, it's there's a process of getting into the rituals and standards. It's just by repetition kind of creates. If you drill something enough times, you will master it in time. And I think that's the narrative you stuck by. Also, I had another question for you about that. Where do you find? Because I know sometimes people wake up. If you could apply the same amount of work you do into your 9 to 5, then there's no excuse why you can't do that for your passions.
Oh man, that's powerful.
Isn't
powerful because that's what I tell people, man. That's what I had to tell myself. Like my last job at TriTech Labs, man, we used to work 6 days, 7 days, and at one point, like because we didn't have help, we was working 3 in the morning to 3 in the evening. So we would work half a third shift and all of first. Sometimes we would work all the first shift, half a second. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because then on days when it was time for me to do videos, on days it was time for me to like work on my website, I'm like, I'm tired.
Oh, he would be a zombie, wouldn't you?
No, I'm just saying, like I was saying, I'm tired, but I'm not looking at, if I'm willing to do it for somebody else, realize that if you don't support your dream, you support someone else's. So every time you hit that clock, you're supporting someone else's vision. So whatever company you work for, somebody had a vision and developed that company, and then you're an employee that helps invest in that person's business. So what I had to kind of program myself is if I'm willing to work 3 in the morning to 3 in the evening, and that was something that really bothered me, because if I'm willing to do that, and then we was doing it 2 to 3 days a week, why can't I do it for my own vision? Why can't I get up at 3 in the morning and do a video? Why can't I get up at 3 in the morning before my normal job and write an article? Why can't I get up at 3 in the morning and edit videos? You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's all about the grind. And I believe you really hit the nail on the head, because some of us are geared and trained that you go hard on your 9 to 5, and then when you get home, it's time to rest for the 9 to 5.
Watch TV, cook your dinner, fall asleep, do it all over again, but kind of disregard what passions you had.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy because in America, you see a lot of foreigners come from different countries, and they come over with the intent to own their own business. They don't come over with the intent to work for somebody else.
To be a wage slave for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And so I think it's just sometimes it's the American dream sometimes can be shaped different ways. Like you see people say, go to school, graduate, go to college, graduate, get a good job. Not go to school, graduate, go to college, graduate, own your own business. You know what I'm saying? You're going to put all that time, you're talking about at least 22 years of your life, of your adolescence, to come out to work for someone else. I think that's backwards.
It is.
Like, one of the restaurants in Lynchburg, La Carreta, I remember the very first La Carreta. And you see it being a family-owned business, a Mexican restaurant, family-owned business, good food.
Oh, yeah, honorable, too.
Man, it's like, 4 or 5 La Carretas now? The bus boys driving the Lexus. Yeah. Family-owned business, man. So if they can do it, then so can you.
Like, there's nothing, everyone, as a human being, we all have, no one's better nor worse than another person. I think we're all capable of building something just as much as the next man is. But it seems we get caught up, I wouldn't say brainwashed. A lot of us seem like we are.
No, I think it is. I think it's learned behavior. You know what I'm saying? Because when you grow up, you're like, let me tell you, like, when in school, like before I got into fitness, I was taught that pizza gave you all the 5 food groups. You see what I'm saying? You got your dairy, your meat, you know what I'm saying? So now you go over and realize that pizza is bad for you. But because you're geared and they train you to actually, that pizza is good, give you all the food groups, that's what you consume as a child. And it's just like milk. We're trained that milk is good for you when, over 75% of human beings are lactose intolerant. So some of it's learned behavior. This is what they teach you. This is what you learn. So therefore, this is what you follow by. So then when you become the one minority, not just minority being, colored or, being African American or Hispanic, not when it comes to race, but a minority of the way you think, now you're the oddball.
You're the oddball. You're the rebel, maybe, as far as, like, going against the status quo. I'm glad you even brought that up, because this can also tie into, us working 9 to 5s and giving that all our energy giving that all of our energy and not trying to transfer all that energy into something that we really love and actually enjoy doing. that process with you working at TriTech Laboratories or, any other job that was pretty taxing and draining upon your family life, which it was, me working at factory jobs, I understand the struggle.
It's killer, man.
It's killer. And you can look at that different ways. A lot of people may say, I hate my job and hate this, daily grind and all that. You can also look at, like, maybe we weren't here for an easy life, or maybe it wasn't meant to be easy for us. Yeah. So it's really challenging on you, and you seem like you succeeded at that challenge.
Yeah,
so far.
well, I think I had to mature. You know what I'm saying? Because there was times I wasn't treated fairly. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't. You know what I mean? And I think when you're great at what you do, when you're good at what you do, a lot of times, with great responsibility comes great power, and you're weighted on. Not weighted like people waiting on you, but you'll have a lot of weight on you. And I think that sometimes when you're talented, depending on how the leadership's trained, you know what I'm saying, instead of them empowering other people to scale you across other people, like, hey, this is the standard employee, let's get everybody to function like this, they just rely more on you. And what happens is you end up pushing this employee out the door. But one thing I can say, you will train, like at TriTech is where I gained most of my tools, man. TriTech led me to the good paying job that I have now. If it wasn't for TriTech, I wouldn't be thankful for this job. If it wasn't for TriTech, I wouldn't know how to be grateful. I wouldn't know how to run my department now. And so, I'm thankful for it. It was part of the process. It was like when I was at TriTech, I was the seed in the ground, and I was being watered. Even though I didn't like it, imagine if you were a seed buried under the soil. That's not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You're in the dirt, can't anybody see you? But once it grows, it's a part of that process. And TriTech was just part of my process, man. And now when I look back over it, I just thank God for everything, because it really matured me at a quick pace going through that.
Right.
It gave me a lot of skills, you know what I'm saying?
Whether you like the process, which probably not, but sounds like, you have to go through the coal in order to get to the diamonds.
Yeah, you have to. And that's what most people don't realize. Like, diamonds are purified in the fire. And most people want, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want the end result. Most people want their cake and eat it too. Right. But a lot of times, they don't realize that you can't have it all. Like, if you're going to be the best, if you want to be, you know what I'm saying, like making a certain amount of money, it requires sacrifice.
It does.
There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into what we do.
Right.
Like time. It's a lot of sacrifice in time, a lot of sacrifice in money, and there's a lot of sacrifice in energy, because, when it comes to the fitness, I try to keep my body in shape to do this, but you must sacrifice. Like, there's no way to say, I want to be on a, talk show level and not put in that work to actually get it to a talk show level.
Right. And
it's a lot of work.
It is.
That's going to go, you know what I'm saying, in it.
Might, sacrificing an hour of sleep or more. And it's something, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of my people in my generation, we could call them millennials, 90s kids, everything. The reason why we want it now is because we're so used to having it now, thanks to these guys right here. Because everything's instant.
Microwave generation,
Microwave generation. We want it instantly. We want it now, and that's why we're probably impatient, or we don't really know the process of.
I think part that's parenting too, man. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes when it comes to bad parenting, I think when it comes to bad parenting, that can also ruin you.
I think my generation, the millennials, as a lot of people call them, the 90s kids, they're a product of, wanting instant gratification now.
Yeah. I think part of that's bad parenting. Like I said before, I think it's one thing to teach a child, like, because you see it, like, when I coach football, it's one thing to tell your child, you can be anything in life that you want to be. You can do anything in life that you want to do, period. Biggest mistake ever, because you're not telling them, you can do anything in life you want to do, you can be anything in life you want to be, but it comes with hard work. Just because you wake up out the bed and say, I want to be the president of the United States, doesn't mean that that's just going to happen just because you want it. It comes a process of hard work and dedication with that. I think part of our generation is we're raising people, and we're letting technology raise them, and we're making them feel entitled to what they want.
That's the word, entitlement.
Yeah, without, teaching them that, hey, nothing comes to a person that sleeps with dreams. Even if a person that has dream has to wake up and make it a reality. So it's up to you to put in that hard work. And until we start telling these kids, like, look, you can do anything, hard work, man. Hard work, dedication.
It's possible, but if you're not willing to put, all the the effort into it, then you get in what you put out, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and sad that it's not impossible to, you know, change a nation. I mean, there's been kids that, you know, do remarkable things in this time, this age, and, you know, in this era and time. So, you know, I really want to touch on about what was it? Let's go back to the fitness thing. So I remember when I saw you, I was like 13 years old. It was before you got. Oh, happy anniversary, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Love my wife. Happy anniversary for 10 years.
Yeah, congrats, man. I remember when you got married, and shortly after, I was 13 years old, and I remember I seen you afterwards, and you had put on some pounds.
Yeah. It's that eating, man. Like, eating. I think I gained like 30 pounds after I got married, man. Eating a lot of spaghetti and lasagna, home cooked meals. A lot of home cooked meals, man.
Want some now myself.
Yeah.
So after that period, were you concerned about your health at the time, or?
Yeah, man. Like, I had like bad cholesterol. You know, just things I never, because I was an athlete. Things I never, you know what I'm saying, endure. But I think that my appearance, I started to get a little pudgy. And I just didn't like that, man. I didn't like that feeling. I was 170 pounds, so I was pretty skinny. But, you know, I was always an active guy. And then, you know, got a job. It was just work and family. It was work, eat, family, work, eat, family.
Got kind of content?
Yeah, I was content, man. I was happy, and I was like a tick, man. I was getting fatter and fatter, man, just putting on weight. And I just reached a point, man, where I just wanted to get back and connect to something active, because I wasn't playing football anymore. I wasn't playing sports, so weightlifting became that sport for me.
Nice. So weightlifting, did that lead to everything as far as like the Bulletproof brand? Or?
Yeah. Bulletproof brand came from just working out and just, you know, Bulletproof protecting your body, and protecting your health one workout at a time.
Right.
So it just led into how working out can really keep you build your immune system. You know what I'm saying, and how it can actually help you with duration for everything.
Which is also like a parallel to the TeflonJohn name, the pseudonym that you created. How did that come into play again?
Yeah, so TeflonJohn came about, man. Is you know, going through a lot, and I remember I was rapping, making beats, and one of my friends was like, yeah, it's TeflonJohn. You know, people call me Don John or whatever, or John, the phenomenon, something the Method Man said. But then it was like, you know, he was just saying, yo, TeflonJohn, you done been through a lot, and you made it out the fire, so it's stuck. So it's stuck, man. So it's pretty cool, man, that, you know, you can take everything that you've been through and spin it on its head, man, and really motivate and inspire other people. You know what I mean?
It's very deep. So it's like an alter ego type of thing, kind of like how Clark Kent has Superman, Peter Parker has Spidey, you know, things like that.
Yeah, about 4 minutes.
About 4 more minutes?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to wrap it up with...
yeah, we'll wrap it up with this next
documentary.
one.
We'll probably talk about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the documentary, you know, you and I are working on together collaboratively, collaborating on the documentary together. And so far we have a good amount of footage, you know, that they haven't seen yet. I know this question's been asked to death. But so what is, I'd rather you say it. I'd rather you tell it. What is the main objective, goal, or provoking thought?
Provoking thought is all about exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like, in order to make people think, you have to do something. You have to put something in front of them and present it in a way that it's never been presented to them before. And what great way of presenting violence than from their peers?
A juxtaposition.
People that's been affected by, people that's committed acts of violence, this family that's affected, people that have to respond to scenes of violence. So, and I think what it does is it opens up the mind and sparks that dialogue. And now we have a conversation about violence. Right. And because we're doing this documentary, we're having people talk about violence that may not have had that conversation in their household. You know, we live in a country now where, you know, it's free, but we're going through, you know, bouts of division. So it's good, man. I think that what I'm trying to do, like I said, is ultimately give you the power to change. I'm not trying to force you to change. I want you to change by thinking, but I'm going to give you the power to change. I'm going to give you the fuel, and it's up to you to make that delivery.
Right. Great answer. I think with all that being said, the documentary will definitely be an excellent addition to not just the Bulletproof brand, along with my name as well, Tef & K Productions, but I think it's going to be a great
TeflonJohn brand.
TeflonJohn brand too. It's not going to be just an amazing and heart-throbbing, heartstring-tugging addition to that, but also just to a generation in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Great for the ages. With all that being said, I think that wraps up our interview. I really enjoyed doing this first time.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, right?
It is. It throws people off a little bit, right?
It felt relaxing, man, for me to chill, man. But just the message to all the viewers, I appreciate all you guys. I was actually Vibe 100 Person of the Week in the community. I appreciate you guys following me. Please share this. Please get it out. Visit my website, www.iamteflonjohn.com. If you would like to get on the show or be a part of the documentary, you can email me at iamteflonjohn@gmail.com. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. You want to say it? Check us out.
As he always says, but I'm going to say it today, one love, be blessed.